Sir, is my screen is visible now?
Yeah, it's visible. You can start.
Okay. So, again, good evening, sir. Myself, Rishu Sinha from Rajiv Gandhi Petroleum Institute of Technology. So, I am going to present uh, about the plotting trend lines on HDFC dataset. So, moving toward the introduction. So, we will see uh, plotting trend lines on HDFC bank stock data, and we will also explore the importance of visualizing trends in financial data and the tools and library which are used in this are Python, Pandas, NumPy, and Matplotlib. So these are the contents which we will going to discuss. So first we will discuss about the dataset overview. Then we will see what is trend line, what its importance, and then we will explore how to plot the trend lines. Then we will explore about the results and interpretation. Then we will discuss about some important terms, and after that uh, we will see the demonstration and we will understand through the code. Then I have mentioned the conclusion, references, and the question answer session. So so in this uh, assignment I have used HDFC Bank stock data in CSV format from Alpha Vantage. So the data set, so let me show the data set first. So as we can see, this is the CSV file for the data set, which includes few columns naming date, open, high, low, close, adjusted close, and volume. So we will see the significance of each column. I have also mentioned in my uh, PPT in my slides. So the date is for the date of the trading day, and the open stands for the opening price of the stock on that day, and the high represent the highest price of the stock reached during that trading day, and low is for the lowest price during the trading day, and the close stands for the closing price of the stock on that day, and volume represents total number of shares traded on that day at the adjusted close. The adjusted closing price, which accounts for the corporate's action like dividend and stock splits. So after exploring the data set, we will see the significance of trend lines. So visualizing trends in financial data is vital for its ability to provide clear and concise insights that aid decision makings. It manages risks, evaluate performance, and it support forecasting. So this visualization helps investors, analysts, and organization to quickly identify patterns and communicate with complex information and to develop effective financial strategies. So then there are few steps which we need to follow for plotting the trend lines. It includes importing of important libraries. So first we import necessary libraries including pandas for data manipulation, numpy for mathematical operation, and matplotlib for plotting. Then we have to load data. So we will load the data set into the pandas data frame and ensuring that it should include necessary columns. Then we will prepare data like to convert date column to a date time format. Then we will extract data, extract the relevant columns, like we are using here the date and closing price. Uh, then we will create axis and figure. So create figure and axis for your plot using matplot, and the function which is used is plt.figure. Then we will plot data on the axis. So we are using closing price and date. So closing price and date data will be on our axis. Then we will perform linear regression. So we will calculate the coefficient of linear regression, the function which is used using by the numpy, that is np.polyfit. Then we will generate the trend lines. So we will utilize that coefficient which we have calculated using the np.polyfit, and we will generate the trend line using np.polyvalue. Then we will plot trend line, that add the trend line to the plot, and then we will customize plot, like customize the plot, adding labels, a title, a legend, and the grid lines to enhance clarity and readability. Then we will display plot. So finally, display the plot to visualize the data and the trend lines. Then moving toward the next slides. So this is the result. So I have attached the screenshot of output which I am getting through my code. So the result of the project is a plot that shows the actual closing price of HDFC Bank stock over a period of time, along with the trend line estimated using linear regression. So the x-axis of the plot represents time, with the earliest date on the left and the latest date on the right. So the y-axis represents the closing price on HDFC Bank stock, and the blue line represents the actual closing price on each date, and the red line represents the estimated trend line. So the actual closing price shown by the blue line is recorded on data points. So there are a few terms which we need to discuss. So we will discuss about these terms like closing price, trend line, and linear regression. So as we have talked about the closing price earlier also, the closing price of a stock is a final price at which the stock or security trades during a regular trading session. So the closing price is a critical data point for investors and traders, as it reflects the market sentiment at the end of the day. It is often used to calculate daily return, track price changes over time, and access the overall performance of a stock market index. Then trend lines. The trend line is a straight line that connects two or more significant price point on a stock chart. So it is used to visually represent the direction and the strength of the price trend. In an upward trend, the trend lines typically slope upward, while in the downward trend, it slope downward. So trend line are a valuable tool for technical analysis in the stock market. They help traders and investors identify the potential buy and sell point. An ascending trend line can indicate the uptrend, suggesting the opportunities for buying, and descending trend lines may signal the downtrend, indicating the potential selling opportunities. Talking about the linear regression. So linear regression is a statistical method used in stock market analysis to identify and quantify the relationship between stock historical price and independent variable. That may be time also. So it involves fitting a straight line to the data points to make prediction about future price movement. So linear regression can provide insight to a stock historical price movement and help analysts make forecast. For example, it can be used to estimate the stock future price based on their historical performance. So now we will say the demonstration. So let's stand through the code. Uh, Sir, is my VS Code visible now?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So this is the actual code which I'm using for generating the trade lines. So first, we are simply importing our necessary libraries like pandas, numpy, and matplotlib. Then we are reading the data frame in this line. So we are loading the data set, the data which is stored in this data file. This is HDFCBANK.csv file, and we are displaying the first few columns by data dot head. So as we can see in the terminal, the first 5 columns, it's shown here. Then we are extracting the data, like we are utilizing here 2 columns, date and closing price. So we are using the date column. So we are storing the date, all the dates in date series, and we are extracting the close column. So we are storing this in close series. Then we are plotting the figure, and we are defining the figure size, that is 10 cross 6. Then by plot function, we are generating the plot using the x-axis and y-axis as the date series and the close series, and labeling the closing price, and the line which we are going to generate, that would be the color blue. Then here is the things which is used for the linear regression. So first we are calculating the coefficient using these 2 columns. So for the coefficient, we use the numpy function, that is np.polyfit. And for the trend line, we are utilizing the coefficient which we have calculated here, and we are generating the line using np.polyvalue function. Then we are customizing, like we are adding the title, we are adding the X label, we are adding the Y label as closing price, and we are adding the legends for the closing price and the trend line, and we are adding the grid, and finally we are displaying the plot. So after running this, we will got the output. As you can see, this output we got. We have the grades, we have the legends, and this blue line for the closing prices, and the red line for, we have also discussed in our slide about this output. So let's come back to the slide. So yeah, in conclusion, the analysis of trend lines on the HDFC dataset had provided valuable insight into the financial trend of the Rion Corporation, and we observed several key trends and could impact investment decisions and financial planning. So here are the references which I have utilized, the link about where I got dataset and all the documentation about the libraries. So yeah, it is all over from my side. If someone have any questions, so they can ask. And thank you, sir.
Yeah, Rishu. Uh, it was better than last time. You did show the data set before itself.
Yes, sir, you have mentioned, that's why
Yeah,
I.
yeah. I noticed that. Okay. Other than that, it was all fine. I have no other suggestions or recommendations. Okay.
Okay, sir, thank you, sir.
Yeah. You can leave the meet and you can stop sharing your screen.
Okay, sir.
Okay. With this, we end our session for today. Thank you everyone for joining in.